when you use participatory budgeting, participatory processes as a method to directly and like really boldly face what legacies you're standing on, there's a lot of opportunity to have conversations that you're not having otherwise. You're not going to have these conversations during an election cycle about how a particular neighborhood was targeted. You're not going to have conversations about how you use actual money to think about how Skid Row has been targeted specifically by economic disinvestment. And so I think that that's one of the major strengths of participatory budgeting, is that it is a tool that folks can use to open up really important conversations and actually have them in a bold and impactful way that puts real impact, real money behind those conversations. Not a couple of candidates having a discussion about how this community is feeling the impacts of white supremacy, but actually putting that money into communities' hands to decide what to do with it and start a process of real repair that involves an exchange of power. Another key part of how Participatory Budgeting Project has been thinking about participatory processes as a tool to move towards justice has been other forms of participatory democracy. Our current representative democracy is purposely built in order to enact anti-Black racism. Representative democracy cannot be the method by which we get free. We need to rethink democracy, and we need to think about a version of democracy that is about more shared power, that is about shared decision-making, that is about community holding decision-making power, not simply shifting what single individual is holding that overall power. So we're working through Democracy Beyond Elections, which is a coalition where we're partnering with other folks to think about other forms of participatory democracy, thinking about community assemblies, right, where folks are able to move through decisions, participatory policy making, where folks are able to actually have a say in the policies that are impacting their lives. And we see what happens when that is not the case, right? We see the impacts of the war on drugs. We see the impacts of all these policies that were made behind closed doors by our representatives who don't represent us. They represent the interests of white supremacy. And so in order to actually have a system that represents us, we have to be the ones representing ourselves. And we have to have direct democracy.